Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to Legacy Texas for tonight's IndyCar 1909.com 600. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight is Chris Wright, not XX as it says on the screen. Let's get Chris's name in there. But Chris, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, Robert. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty phenomenal myself. And as you can see on the screen tonight, taking a look at the conditions, 70-degree ambient temperature, 55% relative humidity, partly cloudy with 2-mile-per-hour winds, and track temperature. Oh, Chris, you got me?
I do. I lost timing and scoring for a second.
All right, looks like we are okay. We briefly had a little disruption with the connection there. Looks like it has sorted itself out. But taking a look at the race format tonight, 248 laps, 600 kilometers, as this race was run many years ago as a kilometer race. Fuel window tonight, 46 to 53 laps. That is as per Mark Murphy. And 11 sets of tires here, Chris. We'll just keep that race info information up on the board. Just wrapping up qualifying here. We are just awaiting the final cars to finish up. About 45 seconds remaining. Butch Davis currently on the pole. Chad Simpson on the outside. Jared Rexon, Chris Amard, and Adriano Pinheiro currently the top 5 on the racetrack right now. Victor Del Porto, Eric Troiano, Ethan Stanley, and Chris Walker. Now, Chris, obviously you were here last week, and you had the opportunity to broadcast the race from Iowa. Looking ahead to tonight, who's your pick to take the victory here before we look at the starting grid?
Well, I think we've got Mr. Indianapolis 500 out here, and he has chose not to qualify. But I believe, based on what I heard after the race last week and what I've heard coming into this one this week, I believe they're expecting a pack race. So I'm going to go ahead and take Robert Maleshka there, and that's going to be my pick to win this thing.
Now, taking a look at the starting grid, Chris, let's see if we can get that pulled up on the screen. Butch Davis is on the pole alongside Chad Simpson. Jared Rexing in third. Chris Amard fourth. Victor Del Porto and Adriano Pinheiro make up an all-Brazilian row number 3. Justin Fortner, Eric Troiano, row number 4. Mark Murphy and Chad Frankenfield in that 5th row. Michael Hossack, Seb Alexander in row 6. Row 7, Jesper Orman and Ethan Stanley. Row 8 is Archie Coveney and Hunter Smith. Why don't you take us through the rest of the field?
Hunter Smith is 16th. Ryan Schold, 17th. Craig Forsythe, Colin Copa, Michael Bourne round out the top 20. AJ Hobson, Chris Webb, Mark Rebelos, Brant Johnson, Chris Walker, and then Robert Maleshka, Joe McAdory, and Bill Colley did not make a time.
Now, Chris, you did make the pick there as we jump over to our timing and scoring screen here tonight. This will be how you can follow along with what's going on the racetrack. Also have the events up in the top right corner there, letting you know when your driver does something. But Chris, your pick was Robert Maleshka here tonight. I am going to go with a driver that has been fairly close on numerous occasions. Seems to do fairly well on these ovals, especially in these open wheel cars. I'm going to go with Mark Murphy in car number 69. Mark, first time I've picked you. You better not let me down here tonight, buddy. But if you do, we'll just blame Chad.
So now, can you confirm, are we going to see a pack race here tonight at Texas?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing from these drivers, is that we should expect a bit of a pack race out there on the track. As you can see, the top right corner, gridding has commenced. We should begin our parade lap here in just a few seconds. The grid is just running down the last few seconds as we now kick off that formation lap. But yeah, what I've been hearing is that we should see a bit of a pack race here tonight, which should give us an opportunity to have some really close battles and potentially some big wrecks out there, Chris.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it'll be a pack race all the way through. Will they separate when the tires wear? You know, this is an old, worn-out racetrack here. This is, yeah, I'm not sure if you said, I think you might have said at the top, they're Legacy Texas. This is not the new repaved Texas, so old, worn-out asphalt. I expect to see some moving around in 3 and 4 at times. But down in 1 and 2 is typically a single lane, so we'll see if that can stay as a pack race all the way through, or maybe just for parts of a fuel run here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, and like you said, Legacy Texas seems to be a bit of a cheese grater on these tires. There are 11 sets here tonight. So 1 on the car and 10 remaining on pit road. So that should give these drivers an opportunity to really balance the rubber on these race cars, not go too hard on them, and have an opportunity for fresh rubber at all times as the field is coming off at turn number 4. Pace car has worked its way down to the pit lane. The field's going to be in the hands of Butch Davis as the green flag is out, and we're underway here at Legacy, Texas.
Looks like a pretty clean start so far. Maybe the outside line at about the 3rd row did not take off very well.
Almost immediately, you see Jared Rexing jump up to the rear end of Butch Davis. Now he's looking to the outside. We're about to look 3 wide for the race lead already here on lap number 1. Butch Davis on the bottom, Jared Rexing on the high side. Chad Simpson drops back into position number 3 as they remain side by side for the race lead.
Side by side for the race lead. Like you said, but Chad Frankenfield is trying to get into the middle 3 back there and couldn't quite do it. Crazy racing all throughout the field right now.
Does look like somebody's gotten slowed up. We are under
caution. We got a car
caution.
upside down. Chris Webb upside down.
Chris Webb upside down, and his night has come to an end here early in this event. We also have Brant Johnson. His nose cone is hanging off of that machine. Let's take a look here on our end. We're going to take a look at the Robilis Photography replay machine and see what just happened with driver Chris Webb and Brant Johnson.
Man, it looks like Chris is going to get into the wall off of 2.
Chris just got into the wall there, Mr. Wright, and that ended up turning into a bit of a chain reaction with Brant Johnson. Gets back into Chris Webb. Webb backs into the wall, goes up in the air, up and over, and his night has come to an end very early here at Texas.
I'll tell you what, my race pick here to win tonight just barely missed that wreck. Had to go all the way down on the apron, about 3/4 of the way down the backstretch.
Yeah, that was definitely an unfortunate moment there. Fortunate for Robert Malechka that he was able to avoid that. Just taking a look out on the track, we do have a couple takers on pit road. Actually, just looks like one for now. No, we do have multiple. Ryan Schuld, Brant Johnson, Robert Malechka, Mark Rubilis, and Joe McAdory all coming down pit road into the attention of their pit crews.
And Brant Johnson's down there dragging a nose cone.
Yeah, Brant with some heavy front end damage. Quick stop there for Ryan Schuld. He's able to exit his box relatively quickly. Just a bit of a splash of gas there and able to continue on. Brant Johnson does have his nose cone reconnected and is able to continue on here. He'll join the tail of the field and have an opportunity to hit that reset button and get going once again. Again, 248 laps on the docket tonight. We're only 3 laps in, 245 to go.
I'll tell you, Robert, that was a crazy start. Lots of 3 wide, lots of guys trying to look 3, pretty aggressive there. I'm telling you, like, this is a pack race times a million. It's like, if I can compare it for any stock car listeners out there, it's like what they got going on in Atlanta, only way crazier. It's not so much a single file deal. It looks like it's what we would have in Atlanta if they added about 3 more inches on the spoiler and gave them all that downforce to be able to run wide open without an issue.
Yeah, you know what's pretty interesting here about Texas is no matter what version, if it's the new version, the old version, whatever you're on, this track really welcomes some great racing in these open wheel cars. Maybe on the stock car side, not as much. You know, there's decent racing there, but people just don't tend to like the place. But when it comes to these open wheel cars, you really never know what you're going to get. You're going to get guys that'll be up against the wall. You'll get guys that are hugging the apron, just about on the apron, trying to go around this circuit. And that really brings some great battles all throughout. We are getting set to go green once again, and this will be a single file restart as this incident did happen fairly early on in tonight's event. So on the front row, well, actually only one car on the front row, Butch Davis out front, Jared Rexing second, Chad Simpson third, Victor Del Porto fourth, and Chris Samard in 5th. The pace car about to make the turn onto pit road here, Chris.
Yeah, but we're not going green just yet. We got a warm-up lap, right?
That's correct, yes. So we do a warm-up lap here after the pace car goes down, just to let these guys make sure they're all in a good position and are feeling confident for the restart. So they are taking part in that warm-up lap right now. Butch Davis leading the way around ahead of Jared
Bobby,
Rexing.
you missed 1 week, Bobby, and you forget the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. I never really did understand this rule, Chris. Like, let's just go.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either when I raced in this series. I think it's for cold tires to get some heat in them, but I mean that's the beauty of it.
How come we don't get a chance to get heat in our tires in the stock cars?
Man, I want my stock car tires as cold as I can get them.
Chad's playing some favoritism over here.
Yeah, I don't want heat in my stock car tires.
As Butch Davis comes through turn 3 and 4, we're going to go green this time. He's going to look to get a very solid jump in his number 41 machine out front of Jared Rexing. Here we come off turn number 4. Butch Davis on the loud pedal. Great start for Davis and Rexing.
Big checkup here on the front stretch. Everybody might escape okay here. Big stack up there in the single file restarts.
Little bit of side-by-side action heating up here. Adriano Pinero trying to hold off a hard-charging Michael Hosick a little bit towards the rear of the top 10. That's positions 8 and 9. Hosick's been very strong this season in the ARCA car and here in this open-wheel machine. We are side-by-side for the race lead. Jared Rexing has taken a dive to the inside, and he is working his way past the Butch Davis machine. They continue side-by-side down into turn number 3, and Jared Rexing finally clear of the Butch Davis machine. Butch going to get back in line, and he's carrying Chad Simpson with him. Butch Davis back up to the high side, and that side-by-side does continue for the race lead here, Chris.
Yeah, I got a great battle for the race lead. Great battles all throughout the field. Here goes Butch to his outside down into turn 3. Will he be able to make the pass on the long side around? It does not look like it's going to happen there. He's going to try to get the run down the front stretch. He's going to be just outside of him. Left front to right rear down into turn 1. Jared's going to get cleared down into 1 once again. Butch is going to shuffle down in line, get the run, try to slingshot again down into 3. He's further ahead down into 3 this time. It's going to be dead even into turn 3. But Jared on the bottom side just pulls in about a car length all the way to the corner.
Yeah, Butch
Jared's
Davis.
Come back, lead the lap. Same as before. Left front to right rear.
Yeah, Butch Davis doing everything he can to try to get that gap closed on the high side. Keeps trying to pull Chad Simpson with him, trying to get a little bit of a train going. As Jared Rexing is on the bottom all alone. We see Victor Del Porto jumping down to the inside as well. Chad Simpson now ditches the Butch Davis machine. He's going with Jared Rexing. So that makes the inside lane a little bit stronger. As Chad Simpson now goes back up to the high side, trying to give Butch Davis a little bit of an air push to get him a little bit closer to Rexing and work his way past as they continue to be side-by-side down into turn number 3. It's Butch Davis up high, Jared Rexing down on the bottom. Rexing doing everything that he can to try to get the lead, but Butch Davis being a little bit stubborn here, like a mosquito on a hot summer day, not going anywhere.
Yeah, and one thing that happened here is that single file restart kind of got everybody strung out a little bit. Well, they have came back together in this field of the front. Everybody here is now nearly back together, side by side, all throughout the field, all different lanes here. The pack racing is picking back up.
Pack racing picking up indeed as we look at Adriano Pinero on the outside. He's got company from Jesper Orman towards the rear of that top 10. Chad Frankenfield trying to work his way through. That battle is absolutely intense for the race lead. Butch Davis closing the gap bit by bit, trying to close the door on Jared Rexing, not giving him room to come up off the bottom whatsoever as Rexing goes wheel to wheel with Butch Davis down into turn number 1 here on lap number 15. Davis started on the pole, had the lead until the latest single file restart, and then Jared Rexing able to get on that loud pedal, and off he went as Jared Rexing now has a lead into turn number 3.
And one guy that's coming through this field, you talked about him a little bit right there, Chad Frankenfield has made up a ton of ground here in the last 3 or 4 laps just using the high side.
Yeah, Chad Frankenfield and Mark Murphy on the climb through the field. 5 positions each now, running in positions 4 and 5 respectively. Taking a look from the camera that I'm currently watching this race out of, Chris, this is wild what's going on out there on the racetrack. Basically the top, I want to say top 15, all under a blanket.
Yeah, 20th place is right at 2 seconds behind the leader, so it's incredible out here.
Absolutely. And you know what? There was a lot of issue. Ooh, that was really close. I think we might have had a bit of contact back there around the Chad Frankenfield machine. Potentially Chris Samard getting into the rear of him, but able to continue on without issues. But looking back at practice, a lot of drivers had issues off of turn number 2. There was a lot of sliding going on off that corner, led to quite a few wrecks during the free practice session, and now seems to be a bit more stable as Chad Frankenfield takes a dive to the inside of Chad Simpson.
Yeah, and they're 3 wide at about 10th place there.
Yeah,
not sure who that is. All the middle car lifted. Chad Frankenfield's up here going for 3rd.
Frankenfield does clear the Chad Simpson machine. Butch Davis again dives to the outside of Jared Rexing as Chad Frankenfield trying to close his way up into that battle. This has been one heck of a race thus far here, Chris. I can't believe that we're only on lap number 19 of 248 here tonight. 229 to go. And Chad Frankenfield looking to the high side. We're about to go 3 wide for the lead.
3 wide? I think that's Chad wide. There it is.
Chad wide. Here we go. Frankenfield in the middle. Rexing on the bottom. Davis falls back on the high side. He gets back in line, goes down behind Jared Rexing, as this battle has absolutely been phenomenal thus far for the race lead. Frankenfield, Rexing, and Davis. As don't look now, here comes Jesper Orman just behind. He's got company from Chad Simpson, Adriano Pinero, and Mark Murphy up in the top 7. The top 7
Chad's getting to the bottom.
is about to be on top of each other here. Jared Rexing left the bottom open, and here comes Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield looks for the lead. He currently has a nose ahead of Jared Rexing, and Jesper Orman closing that gap on the rear of Frankenfield. Butch Davis looking to the high side. We're about to be 3 wide off of turn number 2. Butch Davis looks to the middle. Davis in the middle. Squeeze. Rexing up high. It's Butch Davis in the middle. Outside of Chad Frankenfield. 2 wide for the lead. It's Frankenfield on the bottom. Davis on his right side pod. Here we go. What a battle. Jesper Orman now to the inside of Rexing. It's 2 by 2 for the lead.
What an insane maneuver down in the 3 there. I did not think that they were going to be able to get in there 3 wide, but they made it work.
Chris, this has been phenomenal, my friend.
Yeah, Jared went from leading on the bottom to Chad making a pretty aggressive move to get to his inside down in the 3, and now Jared's on the top, 2nd car in the top lane.
Yeah, as we take a look at the top 5, it's Chad Frankenfield, Butch Davis, Jesper Orman, Jared Rexing, and Chad Simpson, as Rexing and Orman swap that 3rd spot.
And one thing I am noticing is there's a group of cars that have fell back from this intentionally, thinking that there's going to be a wreck.
The way that these guys are racing, I would not be surprised if we do get a wreck, as everyone's running very, very tight in this top 4, especially as they're 2 by 2 for the front 2 rows, as Butch Davis clamps himself down on the right rear of Chad Frankenfield. That is the battle for the race lead, and it is a very, very highly contested battle as Jared Rexing takes a peek to the outside, almost goes 3 wide on Butch Davis, thinks better of it. He gets back in line as here comes Jesper Orman. He's looking for an opportunity to go 3 wide.
Yeah, and they're about to catch a slow car here that's not too far out in front of them, maybe 5 or 6 seconds. Out in front of the leader is a slow car, and they're running double file here around 1.5 miles Texas Motor Speedway.
I believe that car is Michael Bourne. Bourne currently 1 lap down, just ahead of these race leaders. That's going to be very interesting when they get there. Mark Murphy now takes a dive to the inside, just a little bit further back here. He's looking for an opportunity to work his way up into the top 5.
Yeah, not your pick there. Mark Murphy looking to get up in there, but some other guys that have came from the back there. Archie
Coveney.
start of 15th. He's up there into 7th. He talked about Jesper being up to 3rd after the start of 13th. Colin Copa, Craig Forsyth, Ethan Stanley. All these guys started outside the top 10, and they are all running right around or inside the top 10.
Yeah, biggest mover in this race thus far, Colin Culpa and Jesper Orman tied at 10 positions gained apiece. As that battle is very, very tight for the race lead. Butch Davis on the right side tires of Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield has Jesper Orman right beneath his rear wing. As Jared Rexing looking for an opportunity to get up there. Chad Simpson up in the fight, as well as Mark Murphy. So we have one heck of a battle. The top 6 all on top of each other here.
Yeah, and they're not closing in on that slow car quite as fast as I thought they would. He's still sitting out there about maybe the same distance, so I'm not sure. You had a fuel window, right? What was it?
I believe it was. Hold on, let me pull that up here, Chris. 46 to 53 laps.
So we're within 20 laps of getting inside that fuel window. So
That's
we are
absolutely
approaching,
correct.
20 laps here will fly by at 25 seconds a lap. So we're closing in quickly here on pit stops, and it looks like they're going to be under green. Do they have to run the apron through 3 and 4 to pit here?
That's right. Chad had mentioned that entering turn 3, you do have to be on the apron as you work your way towards pit road. Chris Walker is pit from the rear of the field.
Oh, here we go, Jared with the big move. 3 wide. He's under Chad.
Contact with Chad Frankenfield. That was a very tight 3 wide. Jared Rexing into the left side of Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield nearly went around, able to gather it back up as Butch Davis charges back to the race lead. That was wild, wow. Chris.
Yeah, Chad has already radioed that he did not get the 3 wide call.
Oh, things are getting a little hairy there. Adriano Pinheiro chasing down the racetrack just behind Archie Coveney. Here comes Craig Forsyth up in the top 10 as well. Forsyth up 8 positions from the start of this event. But yeah, Chad Frankenfield, that move by Jared Rexing very late on Frankenfield maybe didn't get the call from the spotter in the Frankenfield machine, knowing that they were 3 wide. But Chad able to hold on to position number 2. He's battling with Chad Simpson. So it's Chad squared there in position 2 and 3. Jared Rexing in 4th, able to hold on. But Butch Davis now finally does have himself a bit of a gap out front. Jesper Orman and Mark Murphy are joining that battle of 2nd through about 6th out here on the racetrack. Nearly contact behind them as Archie Coveney slides up into the outside wall.
I'm noticing some guys are really starting to shove the nose here out of 2. That could lead to a big problem if somebody up towards the front shoves the nose. And
I think we're at the point here, Chris, where these guys are getting maybe a little bit overconfident, which does sometimes happen when you get on the longer runs here, get a little bit further into your fuel and tire run. All of a sudden, you're trying to do things a little bit differently as we are about to go 3 wide once again. Yes, Orman took a dive to the inside of Chad Frankenfield. Orman now scored in 3rd. Rexing was about to jump up to the high side, thought better of it. But I do want to give a quick shout out over on the YouTube chat. Brent Jones hanging out with us there. Hello, Brent Jones. Hope you're doing well tonight, buddy.
I think Chad has maybe worn the tires off of his machine. He is backing up. Chad Frankenfield, that is.
Yeah, can't just say Chad when we got 2 of them in the top 5. But just looking through the field, Michael Bourne is entering turn number 3 now as Butch Davis just now into 3. Davis, he's got a mirror full of Chad Simpson. Simpson seems to have stepped it up a little bit here late in this fuel run. We're within about 10 laps or so of the fuel run. Chad Simpson to the bottom of Butch Davis for the race lead. Davis up high. Here comes Chad Simpson. Simpson able to take over the race lead. Now it's Chad Simpson, Butch Davis, and Jesper Orman as Orman dives to the inside of Butch Davis, nearly into the left rear. Chad Simpson as Simpson comes down to close off that block. And here we go. What a battle for the top 3 once again, Chris. What a battle it's been here. 40 down, 209 to go.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Archie is really starting to struggle off of turn 2. I have seen him nearly hit this wall off of turn 2 several times in the last handful of laps. He is really losing turn, late exit off of turn 2.
You know, Chris, one thing about the open wheel side of things is you're going to have guys that are specialists on the oval side, and you're going to have guys that are specialists on the road side. And when you come to these ovals, you're going to start seeing these guys maybe struggle a little bit more, try to find something that helps them out, because we don't run a lot of ovals here.
Yeah, in my short time in the series, I was way better at the ovals than I was at the road course stuff, and that's just my background being
Battle for the
a
lead,
stock car
Chris.
guy.
Jesper Orman up to the outside. Chad Simpson on the inside. It's Jesper Orman with a nose ahead of Simpson up on the high side here as they go off into turn number 3. They remain side by side, tire to tire as we come off of turn number 4. I believe Chad Simpson will have just a little bit of the front wing advantage over Jesper Orman. Orman back into line. But Chris, sorry to cut you off there. Why don't you continue your train of thought?
Oh, you're good. Butch Davis isn't far behind him. Jared Rexing came through there, and they've all passed Chad Frankenfield. Mark Murphy right now sitting in 6th. Actually, Mark Murphy's losing that spot to Adriano as we speak. Looks like Adriano might have something left here for the end of this run. So he's going to go underneath Chad down into turn 1.
Yeah, the bread man gets by Chad Frankenfield here. Move Adriano Pinheiro up into the top 5.
But yeah, what I was saying is like...
Craig Forsyth
we got a
falling
wreck.
back. We're under caution here. It's Craig Forsyth. Taking a look on the Robilas Photography replay machine to see what happened with my fellow Canadian here, Craig Forsyth. Forsyth just slides up into the outside wall. Unfortunate contact from behind. I believe that to be Seb Alexander into the rear of Craig Forsyth. Really unfortunate for Craig there, not able to continue on. But Chris, that kind of changes it up a little bit here. We were approaching the first pit stops here of the night, and I think we can expect everyone to come pit side here.
Yeah, I was excited to see what happened if they could, get them under green, but looks like we're going to get them under yellow as here comes the whole field down pit road.
We'll see who takes the lead off of pit road as we are watching them head pit side to the attention of their pit crews. Chad Simpson, Butch Davis, and Jared Rexing all pulling into their respective pit stalls. Jack has dropped on Jesper Orman's machine. It's going to be tight here, but Chad Simpson wins the race off pit road over Jesper Orman, Butch Davis, Jared Rexing, and Adriano Pinheiro. That is your top 5 as we are under caution number 2 here tonight in the IndyCar 1909.com 600. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time on the Elite Racing Network. Don't go anywhere.
Isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
present, and future. That is tonight's race sponsor. Thank you to them for their support, of course, tonight as well. I have to thank TA Services, who you just saw there moments ago, as well as Worldwide Technology Raceway. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, home to a 1.25-mile oval, quarter-mile drag strip, state-of-the-art karting facility, and as known as the Corporals and marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan, and our series sponsor, Warriors for Peace. Warriors for Peace is a foundation promoting peaceful change in the world to check out warriorsforpeace.org for more information. That's Warriors, number 4, peace.org. Chris, we are doing another formation here. Let's turn down the car sounds here so we're not blowing out people's ears. Brent Jones, I hope your ears are okay as we get set to unleash these cars once again.
Hey, Robert, I have to step away for a second. We just went under a tornado warning. Apparently there's one here.
All right, go to your basement. See you in a bit. All right, folks, Chris Wright has stepped away. Hopefully everything is okay over there. I know there's been some tornadoes around North America today, quite a few, some couple hours away from me. We got hit by one last Thursday, which was quite scary. As we have a battle for the lead, it's Jesper Orman to the inside. Chad Simpson now falls back to second. Here comes Butch Davis in third. Jared Rexing looking to the high side, but Jesper Orman said, yes, sir, no, sir, it's my time to go out front. Here we go. It's Orman up to the lead. Butch Davis looks to the inside of Chad Simpson for second. Jared Rexing takes a peek to the outside, nearly 3 wide there. As Chad Frankenfield nicks the wall a little bit behind them, side by side. Butch Davis, Chad Simpson. That is your battle for second. As Jared Rexing gets to the rear, Chad Simpson trying to give him a push. Butch Davis gets himself a nice run. He looks to the inside of Jesper Orman. It's Orman and Davis side by side for the lead. Butch Davis clears Jesper Orman into turn number 2, off of 2. It is Orman in third now as Jared Rexing gets by. Rexing takes a look, trying to chase down Butch Davis. What a battle we've had here tonight for the race lead, folks. I absolutely hate that you can't see this as Jared Rexing looks to the outside of Butch Davis. That is your battle for the lead. Butch Davis on the inside, Jared Rexing on the high side off of turn number 2. It's Butch Davis leading the way over Rexing, but here comes Orman looking to the rear of Davis. Chad Simpson behind Jared Rexing. Here comes Adriano Pinero up into the top 5. Chad Frankenfield in 6th. What a race thus far. We still have 195 laps to go here. These guys think that it's go time, but it's not go time for a couple hours here, guys. As Jared Rexing and Butch Davis continue to battle for the race lead. Jesper Orman now to the left rear of Jared Rexing for second. Chad Simpson now side by side with Jesper Orman. These cars are all under a blanket. We have one camera shot here that is focused just on these top 4. And here comes Pinero looking to the high side. Adriano Pinero up into the battle for the top 5. Here comes Chad Frankenfield up here in Mark Murphy. Chris, get out of that tornado. We got battles going on out here. This is absolutely phenomenal as your top 3 now. Butch Davis, Jesper Orman, Jared Rexing, the top 3. Here comes Mark Murphy to the inside. He's up in the top 5. Murphy putting on a clinic coming up through the field. Mark Murphy up 4 spots. I thought he was up a lot further. Well, it's a little tiny clinic, all right? It's one of those on wheels as Mark Murphy now looks to the inside of Chad Simpson. Jesper Orman gets a nice run. He's coming up to the rear of Butch Davis. Mark Murphy now to the inside of Jared Rexing. That is your battle for third. It's Rexing, Murphy, and Simpson. The battle for third is Jesper Orman breathing down the neck of Butch Davis. Davis just barely holding on to the lead over Jesper Orman. Not even a car length difference between first and second as Orman keeps getting one heck of a run to the rear of the Butch Davis machine. Guys, this is absolutely incredible. If you know any of these drivers and they're streaming on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, be sure to open a second window and check that out because you are missing out on one heck of a race here. Jared Rexing now to the high side. He gets by Jesper Orman. Orman battles back. Here comes Rexing to the outside of Butch Davis. That is your battle for first as they head off into turn number 1. It's Davis on the bottom. Rexing up on the high side. What a race we're having here with 190 to go. We're not even 100 laps down, and these drivers are absolutely incredible. Here comes Chad Frankenfield and Adriano Pinero up in the top 5. What a race we're having. Craig Forsyth just retired for those Canadian fans at home, but you're still stuck with this Canadian here on the call here tonight. Michael Hasek a little bit further back in the field as well. He continues on in this race, currently running back in position number 19. Here comes Rexing. He goes from high side to low side. Jared Rexing looking to the inside of Butch Davis, and your new leader is Jared Rexing. Rexing leads off of turn number 4. Butch Davis now back to the outside. Mamma mia, what a race we're having here. Here comes Jesper Orman and Chad Simpson working their way back in. Adriano Pinero, he's up along the wall trying to work his way up there. It is side by side for the race lead once again into turn number 3. It's Davis on the high side, Rexing on the inside. Here we go. Let's continue on with one heck of a battle here. As we come off of turn number 2, it's Jared Rexing all the way down to the bottom lane. Butch Davis all the way up in the high lane. Jesper Orman, he's running whatever the heck lane he wants because he's trying to get that draft to get back up there. As Jared Rexing going to lead this lap, Butch Davis trying to change that. That is your continuous battle for the lead. Just behind them is Jesper Orman and Chad Simpson side by side for third. Simpson up against the wall. Orman now up into the middle lane. Here comes Chad Frankenfield working his way up through the field. Adriano Pinero up there as well. Mark Murphy, Ethan Stanley, Colin Culpa, and Chris Samard up inside the top 10. These guys have put on an absolute show here tonight for the virtual fans at Legacy Texas. Butch Davis up on the high side. He's getting a push from Chad Simpson. Now Davis back to the inside. Now Davis back to the outside as the battle continues for the race lead. What a race we're having here. John Cutlip, if you're watching, oh my gosh, you're having a good time watching these drivers out here on the Legacy Texas Speedway. As here comes Jesper Orman once again on the inside of Chad Simpson. Simpson closing up to the rear. Butch Davis. Simpson looking to the high side. He's looking for an opportunity to go 3 wide, folks. He wants to go, but he can't. He just cannot get there. Jesper Orman hanging tight on the inside of Chad Simpson for third as Butch Davis having the absolute best run we've seen all season long for that number 41. He is side by side with Jared Rexing off of turn number 2. Once again, now Butch Davis gets back in line behind Jared Rexing. Now he's out of line again. Of course, we could have expected that. It's like shaking a magic 8 ball. Is Butch Davis going to go high? Is he not? Well, pretty much always he's going to go. As Jared Rexing works the inside, Butch Davis works the outside. Jesper Orman holding steady in third. Here comes Chad Simpson. Here comes Adriano Pinero. The Bread King looks to the inside of Chad Simpson. Now he looks in the middle. They're very, very tight there. Let's keep our eyes on Adriano Pinero as well as he's trying to work his way up into that dogfight for the lead. They continue to be side by side at the line. This time, Rexing led by 5/1000ths of a second over Butch Davis. That is how close they were at the line. This is absolute madness out here on the racetrack. I have never seen such a competitive race in my life, and we are not even 70 laps into this one. Once again, folks, just sending a best wishes to Chris Wright. He did start the race with me up in the booth, and then they decided to have a tornado warning. As we're about to be 3 wide for the lead, Chad Simpson looks to the high side with help from Adriano Pinero. He gets back in line. Pinero now looks to the rear of Chad Simpson. It's Jesper Orman on the inside. Butch Davis falls back just a little bit. Now Orman to the inside of Davis. That's your battle for second. Is now Davis again clears to the bottom, goes back up to the middle, nearly contact with Jared Rexing. Side by side for the race lead into turn number 3, coming off of 4 this time. Rexing once again with an advantage. Butch Davis trying to get that run as they come across the line. The gap this time for 2/100ths of a second out on the racetrack. Very, very tight amongst these drivers. As I look not too far behind them, they're starting to pile up behind Chad Frankenfield, and actually just ahead of the race leaders. We're coming up on a lapped car. We're about to put, I believe that to be Michael Hosick, a third lap down as Jared Rexing now gets caught. Butch Davis going to use Hosick as a pick. Jared Rexing now falls to third. Davis clears by Rexing. Now looks to get the spot over Adriano Pinero. Pinero clips the apron in turn number 3. Adriano Pinero now closing up to the rear of Butch Davis as they go by the lap car of Michael Hosick. 176 laps remaining. Your leader, Butch Davis, ahead of Adriano Pinero. Here comes Jared Rexing. He's closing that gap right back up. He's going to get a push from Michael Hosick. Side by side into turn number 3. It is Adriano Pinero up on the high side. Butch Davis down on the bottom. That is your battle for first. Just behind them is Jared Rexing. Rexing trying to get the draft from Pinero to close that gap right back up. Here he comes. Welcome back to the fight, Jared. Did you bring some nest quick? Because it's time to go quick. Here we go as we come off of turn number 2. Your leader, Butch Davis, ahead of Adriano Pinero and Jared Rexing. Here comes Jesper Orman to the inside. Orman side by side with Jared Rexing as we come off of turn number 4 here early at Texas lap number 74, coming to 75. As we have had one heck of a race here in the IndyCar 1909.com 600. Back down on the racetrack, it is Butch Davis out front of Adriano Pinero. Jesper Orman in third. Jared Rexing fourth. We have a battle for fifth as well. Here they come. It is Ethan Stanley side by side with, I do believe that to be the Michael Hosick machine. Okay, so Hosick, multiple laps down. He's sticking with this top 5, but Ethan Stanley's been able to work his way up into the top 5. As we see Jesper Orman closing that gap on Adriano Pinero, trying to get up there, trying to do whatever he can to put himself out front. It is Butch Davis currently leading by not so much over Adriano Pinero. Pinero jumps all the way up to the high side. Davis hook in the bottom here. He's trying to do whatever he can to stay ahead of Adriano Pinero. It's Butch Davis. It's Pinero. It's Orman. It's Rexing. It's Stanley, the top 5. Culpa, Simpson, Frankenfield, Murphy, and Coveney, the top 10. A lot of these guys have C's in their name, so I guess it's the night of C's. As Adriano Pinero jumps up to the high side of Butch Davis. He doesn't have a C, but he sees the front as he's trying to work his way around the Butch Davis machine. And Davis has done a phenomenal job here tonight, folks. I cannot understate what Butch Davis has done. Davis, of course, not always a front runner here in the Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series, but tonight he's showing that he belongs at the front, as he has absolutely been dominant thus far. As we watch the battle for the lead, it's Adriano Pinero looking to the high side of Butch Davis. He gets a little bit too high, nearly into the outside wall in the Bread King machine, as he actually, I believe, does clip the outside wall going into turn number 1. He's going to get back in line. They're coming up on another lap car here, so we will see a little bit more lap traffic momentarily. I do believe that to be the Bill Cawley machine. He's currently running not too far ahead of the race leaders. Actually, that is not Bill Cawley. He's only 10 seconds back. Take a look and see if we can find who that is. I believe that to be, yes, it is Mark Rabilis looking to go a lap down here momentarily, folks, as Butch Davis is your race leader. He has some company. Adriano Pinero back to the outside. Let's see if they use the lap car as a pick once again. as they head down the front straightaway into turn number 1. It's Davis on the bottom, Pinheiro up on the high side. Pinheiro trying to close that gap. Now he looks to the inside, crossover off of turn number 2. Pinheiro back in line behind Butch Davis, now to the outside. Adriano Pinheiro, he's going high, low, high, low. He's like a yo-yo out here on the racetrack, trying to do whatever he can to get by the Butch Davis number 41 machine. Davis putting on a clinic out front here as now they look to go by the Mark Robilas machine. You're going to see Pinheiro. Well, you're not going to see, but I'll tell you about it. Pinheiro getting some draft off of the Mark Robilas machine. Now dives back to the inside, trying to take that draft from Butch Davis, your race leader out front here. This has been one heck of a race. Eric Troiano did visit pit road as now Butch Davis working his way by Mark Robilas. Robilas was able to get that spot back in front of the leaders, but now has fallen back once again. So Robilas on the outside of Adriano Pinheiro. Pinheiro taking that draft. Now he dives back to the inside, trying to get up to the rear of Butch Davis on lap 86 now. 163 laps remaining. Pinheiro slides up, nearly gets into the Mark Murphy machine, or Mark Robilas machine. That's the wrong mark, because I believe Jared Rexing might have just had a little bit of contact with Michael Hossack not too far behind. So the lap cars really coming into play here tonight at Legacy Texas, and these drivers doing absolutely everything they can to try to put on a show and stay clean out here. Let's jump a little bit further back. Folks haven't really had the chance to do that as of yet, but let's see what's going on. Ethan Stanley goes around. Stanley has broken his left front tire. I'm going to back that up. Stanley got too high off of turn number 2, hit the outside wall, slid back down into the inside wall. Now the left front tire hanging off the Ethan Stanley machine. He was running very strong inside the top 5, and now looks like his night has come to an end. Just taking a look at any battles on the track, looking a little bit further back. Hunter Smith, AJ Hobson battling for position number 14. It's Hobson currently holding the spot, but here comes Hunter Smith to the inside as AJ Hobson gets the outside wall and immediately heads pit side. What is going on out here on the racetrack? Every time I look at somebody, it sends them to the pits. For some people, everything they touch turns to gold. Everything I touch, apparently, turns to mold out here on the racetrack. As Butch Davis currently leading the way, coming up to the rear end of Eric Troiano. He's about to put Troiano 2 laps down. That's not something I'm used to saying, as Ethan Stanley has called it a night. He's going to retire his machine on lap number 91. Davis leads by 0.7 of a second over Pinheiro, 0.9 over Orman, 1.2 over Jared Rexing. And then, folks, 6 seconds back from Jared Rexing is 5th place Archie Coveney. So that is one heck of a gap that we have, as there is a battle for 5th. Is Chad Frankenfield now getting by Archie Coveney. Frankenfield leading a line that now contains Coveney and Victor Del Porto. Del Porto back in the battle. Here comes Robert Malechka as well. He's going to get up to the rear of Archie Coveney. These drivers all winners this season, I believe, with the exception of Victor Del Porto. As you see the battle now, it is Malechka, it is Del Porto, it is Coveney, it is Frankenfield. 3 wide. Frankenfield on the bottom. Malechka looks to the middle, and Archie Coveney works his way on the high side. He battles back into the spot on the outside of Frankenfield as Robert Malechka able to take advantage and pull away from them now. This has been one heck of a race thus far. I've said that so many times tonight, folks, but it is so true. What a race these drivers have put on tonight. Kudos to the drivers of the Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series here tonight. Only 94 down 100 1:54 to go, and they have put on quite the show. We are approaching the next round of pit stops here. Last time these guys were down pit road was on lap 45. So we should be seeing the next set of pit stops here very, very shortly. As soon as somebody does opt to come down, I'll let you know about it. So you will be aware of when we kick off that next sequence of pit stops, as Butch Davis really is approaching some lap traffic here just up ahead of him. I do believe to be a couple more of those lapped cars. Take a look once Davis gets up to them here and just see exactly who we're dealing with. Adriano Pinero has been really able to close that gap as here comes Butch Davis to pit road. Davis dives down. He's coming to the attention of his pit crew. Bill Colley also worked his way to pit road. Pinero does stay out and inherit the lead. Orman also stays out. Rexing stays out. Coveney stays out. Malechka, Frankenfield, Del Porto, Simpson, Alexander, Murphy, they all stay out. The only one to come down was Butch Davis, your race leader. Brant Johnson on pit road. Jared Rexing now comes down. Rexing pitting from position number 3. Battle a little bit further back. Mark Murphy gets by Hunter Smith. Those are Little Eagle teammates. Murphy in 9th. Smith in 10th. That is your battle for 9th and 10th here out on the racetrack. We'll keep an eye on Adriano Pinero. He stays out. Yes, Warmer stays out. Malechka stays out. Coveney, Del Porto, Simpson all stay out. Alexander, Murphy, Smith. Chad Frankenfield to pit road now. Your race leader is indeed Jesper Orman. He continues out front. He puts AJ Hobson on additional lap down here. As you see a little bit of changing there. Archie Coveney, folks, has just crashed on the racetrack. We are under caution once again, and it's Archie Coveney that goes around. Let's take a look and see what just happened to the number 19 machine. Coveney dives down the racetrack, goes to the apron to work his way to pit road. And he just loses it on the apron, slides back up the racetrack. No contact from any other driver. So Coveney will be able to continue on, but we are under caution here on lap number 102. Your top 10 as they run. Only 8 on the lead lap, by the way, folks. So if one of these top 8 stays out, that could severely mess with the rest of the field. Jesper Orman, Robert Malechka, Victor Del Porto, Seb Alexander, Mark Murphy, Hunter Smith, Chad Simpson, Joe McAdory, Archie Coveney, and Adriano Pinero. The top 10 as here comes the field to pit road. Let's see if anybody opts to stay out. We're going to keep an eye on pit exit here, see who wins the race off pit road. Coming off pit road first, Jesper Orman from the lead cars. It's Orman, Malechka, Del Porto, Murphy, Alexander. That is your top 5 off of the pit lane. 103 down, 146 to go here in the IndyCar 1909.com 600 from Legacy, Texas. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Legacy, Texas. It's the IndyCar1909.com 600. You just heard from our friends at TA Services as well. Of course, check out IndyCar1909.com for IndyCar past, present, and future. Check out Blue Egg Marketing as well as Worldwide Technology Raceway, some of our premier partners here in the Elite Racing League. And of course, WarriorsForPeace.com, a foundation promoting peaceful change in the world in honor of Jack Shockley. Check out WarriorsForPeace.org for more information. Of coming up over the next week or so here on the Elite Racing Network, Sunday night is the next broadcast. It will be the season opener for the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series live from Daytona. Then Monday, Chris and I will be back for the Elite Robilas Photography Grand National Series from Daytona. Then Tuesday, I'll be back with Chris again for the PitPassNetwork.com ARCA Series from Daytona. And then Wednesday, the JoinAPS.com Cup Series kicks off their season with the Daytona 500 from Daytona. So if you like Daytona, be sure to tune in for all that racing action. Warriors for Peace Series will be off next week before returning the first week of August from the Barber Motorsports Park. Back down on the racetrack, Jesper Orman is your race leader after the latest round of pit stops. Top 10 as they run: Orman, Malechka, Murphy, Alexander, Del Porto, the top 5. Simpson, Rexing, Culpa, Pinero, and Davis, the top 10. The only two cars outside the top 10 on the lead lap are Chad Frankenfield and Joe McAdory. And folks, we started tonight's race with Chris Wright up in the booth, but he had a tornado warning not too far into tonight's event, so he has had to step away to the comfort and safety of his basement. So again, shout out to Chris. Hopefully everything's going okay over there, and hopefully you can be back with us before the finish of tonight's event. As we watch the battle for second, Malechka currently holds that spot over Mark Murphy Murphy takes a look to the outside. Here comes Seb Alexander now, actually to the inside of Mark Murphy. He's going to try to get a 2-for-1 as he jumps to the inside of Robert Malechka for position number 2. The top 3 now as they cross the line. Jesper Orman, Seb Alexander, and Robert Malechka. Archie Coveney also up in this battle, folks. He's currently scored as the first car 1 lap down, so he's trying to get back onto the lead lap. He doesn't have too far to go. Jesper Orman not too far out front of that machine. Eric Troiano following him through as well. So those drivers both trying to get back on the lead lap the hard way, which, might actually be easy for these guys tonight as they look to the inside of your leader, Jesper Orman. This might be an opportunity here for Seb Alexander to take these lap cars draft and get by Jesper Orman, as we're side by side for the lead. It's Alexander on the bottom and Orman up high. 136 laps to go, 113 down here at Legacy, Texas. Seb Alexander playing with fire up here. Oh, he looks to the inside of Archie Coveney. Nearly contact between those two. That could have been catastrophic for your race leader, Seb Alexander, as Alexander leads over Orman, Murphy, Malechka, and Simpson, the top 5. Here comes Mark Murphy to the outside of Jesper Orman. He's taking Eric Troiano's draft, trying to work his way up to the lead. Seb Alexander has a mirror full of drivers. Here comes Jesper Orman to the inside of Seb Alexander. 3 wide for the lead. It's Mark Murphy on the high side, Seb Alexander in the middle, and it was Jesper Orman, but he falls back. Your leader at the line, Mark Murphy, up on the high side, now getting help from Chad Simpson. Here comes Seb Alexander, your race leader once again. Alexander leads. Here comes Chad Simpson diving to the inside. What a battle we have for this race lead. It's Seb Alexander out front. Here comes Jesper Orman back to the inside. Orman, I believe, did just pick up the lead. No, he does not. He stays 2 1/1000ths of a second behind the Seb Alexander machine. Now Mark Murphy dives to the inside of Seb Alexander. I said dives, not dies. His car's still moving. Jared Rexing back up in that top 5 battle as well. The yellow Nesquik machine, he was down, but he is not out as he works his way back up into this battle. Jesper Orman is your leader by 0.4 of a second over Mark Murphy, Seb Alexander, Jared Rexing, and Chad Simpson, the top 5. It is Malechka, Pinero, Del Porto, Davis, and Culpa, the top 10. As Jesper Orman works on navigating his way through the lap traffic, Eric Troiano and Archie Coveney have both put themselves back on the lead lap with 131 laps remaining. They have done what they've needed to do. They just need a caution here to get to the rear of the field and have an opportunity to work their way back up. Of course, as of right now, with those two getting back on the lead lap, leaves us 14 cars on the lead lap out of the 28 that took the green flag to start tonight. So half the cars that started remain on the lead lap at lap 119 of 248. So coming up to halfway in about 5 laps time. Mark Murphy doing a phenomenal job here. He's closing that gap big time on Jesper Orman. It was 0.4, now less than a tenth. As Mark Murphy taking that draft in his race first, number 69 for Little Eagle. Trying to fly like an eagle, soaring high. Here comes Mark Murphy looking to the high side of Orman. Orman now jumps to the outside of Coveney. Coveney jumps to the outside of Troiano. So the battle of lap cars ahead of the battle for the lead is actually very good right now. They have been door to door, side pod to side pod, is Coveney and Troiano, as Jesper Orman trying to close the gap, but also trying not to risk anything at this point. Lap 128 to go. Still a long way for these leaders in Orman and Murphy to try to stay clean. Last thing you want to do is put yourself in position to potentially knock yourself out of this race. It's a very long race, very long way to go. Still not even at the halfway point. As here comes Seb Alexander into the battle for the race lead. He gets to the inside of Mark Murphy, or as he's affectionately known, Murph Markey, in the 69, up on the high side It is Seb Alexander in the 49 on the inside. Is Jesper Orman still stuck behind Troiano and Coveney? Those two battling one lap down, or ahead of the leader. They technically a lap down, but actually kind of not, because they are 24 seconds back of the lead. And when you're running a 24-second lap time, you know that they're pretty darn close. Coveney continues to battle with Troiano. Orman now has set himself about 2 tenths, now 3 tenths ahead of Seb Alexander, who's side by side with Mark Murphy. It's Seb Alexander on the high side, Mark Murphy on the inside. Jared Rexing and Robert Malechka duking it out towards the tail of this top 5. 5th and 6th is that battle respectively, not too far behind, as here he comes. Mark Murphy gets by Seb Alexander at the line. The distance between the leader and Mark Murphy's 3 tenths of a second, as Chad Simpson looks to the high side of Seb Alexander. Jesper Orman is at the rear wing of the Archie Coveney machine. Jesper Orman may eventually grow impatient here. We are halfway here, folks. 124 down, 124 to go in this 248 lap event here tonight. The IndyCar1909.com 600. That 600 is 4 kilometers, not laps, not miles, nothing like that, because that would be absolutely ridiculous. Taking a look a little bit further back, Chad Frankenfield running in position number 10. He's kind of in a world of his own there. Position 9, actually, as he did get by Victor Del Porto. Del Porto battling with Colin Culpa. They are trying to work their way further up in the top 10, but no luck thus far. As the battle for the top 5, they're all on top of each other now. It is Jesper Orman leading by just 1/10 of a second over Mark Murphy. 2 tenths over Chad Simpson, who's now to the outside of Mark Murphy. Seb Alexander's right there, as is Jared Rexing. So this has been one heck of a battle between Murphy, Simpson, Alexander, Rexing, and even Jesper Orman, who has done a nice job since he took over the lead following the incident that Archie Coveney had entering pit road not too long ago, which did unfortunately bring out the latest caution. As just an update on Archie Coveney, he continues to do battle with Eric Troiano just ahead of Jesper Orman, and Orman's just ahead of Chad Simpson, who is on the outside. Mark Murphy gets by on the inside. Murphy continues to be scored in second. Here comes Seb Alexander to the bottom of Chad Simpson. So the battle's now for third, as Mark Murphy able to finally get clear of Simpson and Alexander and try to work his way closer and closer to the Jesper Orman machine. 130 down, 119 to go here at Texas. Again, this is the legacy version of the Texas Motor Speedway, so an older version of Texas, a bit more bumps and whatnot out here. Of course, this version, the 2009 version of the Texas Motor Speedway, as Mark Murphy now closing that gap on Jesper Orman. He's up to the rear wing of the Jesper Orman machine. Now he falls back just a little bit. Orman's taking advantage of the Archie Coveney and Eric Troiano drafts here. Troiano and Coveney running 12th and 13th respectively. Justin Fortner did just go a lap down to the field, currently scored the first car 1 lap down in position number 14, not too far behind this front pack. As now Seb Alexander takes a look to the inside of Mark Murphy. The battle for second is now dissipated as Murphy able to clear the Alexander machine, start pulling away a little bit. Alexander has a bit of a gap over Chad Simpson, who has a gap over Jared Rexing, who doesn't really have a gap over Adriano Pinero, but he has a gap over Robert Malechka, who's just ahead of Butch Davis. Davis has sort of straightaway back to Chad Frankenfield and Victor Del Porto, who are a fair bit ahead of Colin Culpa. and Eric Troiano and Archie Company, the last two on the lead lap, are again just ahead of Jesper Orman. And here comes the battle for the lead. Mark Murphy to the high side, Jesper Orman on the inside. Coming off of turn number 2, they will continue to be side by side. Who's going to get the better draft from the lap cars? Will it be Murphy on the high side or Orman on the bottom? Off of turn number 4, here they come. It's going to be Jesper Orman at the line by about a car length over Mark Murphy, who now has company of Seb Alexander, but now jumps to the high side once again of Jesper Orman. Orman going to have all the draft here from the number 14 of Eric Troiano, but Mark Murphy has Archie Coveney's draft as they come off of turn number 4, coming to the line this time. It will just barely be Jesper Orman leading at the line. Not by much, folks. Not by much at all. Taking a look at the biggest movers in this race so far, Robert Malechka up 19 spots, followed by Bill Cawley and your race leader, Jesper Orman, up 12 positions, respectively. Cawley back in 16th, started dead last, has worked his way up through the field. We have a battle for 5th. It's Adriano Pinheiro and Jared Rexing duking it out for their positions. Pinheiro jumps to the high side. Rexing falls back on the inside. Again, we have to jump back up to that battle for the race lead, as it is Jesper Orman out front of Mark Murphy. Murphy has a rear wing full of Seb Alexander. Alexander now gets by the Mark Murphy machine. Murphy falls back a little bit, but now he battles back on the high side. We are about 10 laps away from 100 to go at Texas. It is the IndyCar1909.com 600. Again, check them out, IndyCar1909.com for IndyCar past, present, and future. Into the side of him. Murphy out of the event after Archie Coveney just lost it on the high side. That is the second caution in a row for Archie Coveney, and he just absolutely lost it ahead of the race leaders. Oh my gosh, Jesper Orman got lucky, nearly collected him, but Mark Murphy the only one to be collected, and that is so unfortunate for Mark Murphy. He was very strong. Now he's missing a lot of his front end. Wow, folks. Wow. Guys, that's a game changer right there. So unfortunate for Mark. He was running so well. My pick to win tonight. I genuinely think he had a very, very good shot at it. So unfortunate that he was not able to get it done. We're going to keep an eye on pit entry. Here comes the field. Everyone going to come pit side. I'll take a look at Mark Murphy. Just see, as he's coming down pit road, see if they can get that car fixed up. I'm not sure that they'll be able to, but for Mark's sake, let's hope. As he does not hit his marks. Looks like he goes maybe too far to the left. Now finds himself in his pit stall. Does unfortunately look like the end of the road for Mark Murphy. Jesper Orman wins the race off pit road ahead of Adriano Pinheiro, Seb Alexander, Chad Simpson, and Robert Malechka, Jared Rexing, Victor Del Porto, Butch Davis, Chad Frankfield, and Colin Culpa. The top 10. We're going to step away once again. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have more action here from the Legacy Texas Speedway here on iRacing.com. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We are back here at Legacy, Texas. It's the IndyCar1909.com 600. You just heard from iRacing.com as well as TA Services. TA Services, one of our premier partners here in the Elite Racing League, along with Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. Worldwide Technology Raceway, home to a 1.25-mile oval, 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. And, of course, warriorsforpeace.org. Warriors for Peace is our premier partner, and they've created a foundation to honor the life of Jack Shockley and promote peaceful change in this world. Warriorsforpeace.org. As we're back under green, it is Jesper Orman out front of Adriano Pinero. Pinero in second, Seb Alexander in third. Mark Robilis had an incident there on the restart. As Mark Murphy's joined us up in the booth. Mark Murphy, unfortunate end to your night there. Looks like a lap car might have overstepped and went around.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the Race First Black Magic Designs Illegal. We were super quick, and I was just sitting there. I had it all leaned out, saving gas, and we had enough to make it on 2 stops, and I'm pretty sure that everybody else didn't. It's just one of those unfortunate things. Racing luck hasn't necessarily been on our side this season, and today was no exception. But I just got to thank Race First and Black Magic and the legal guys. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's there's not a whole lot you can do when the guy spins broadside at 217 miles an hour, about 15 feet in front of you. There's just nowhere to go. He was either going to go down the track and get Jesper, or he was going to come up the track and hit me, and backed up the track and got me. So it's what it is. We'll go on and
it's definitely unfortunate, Mark. You were actually my pick to win tonight. just knowing the skill that you do have on these ovals, especially in the open wheel cars. And you were putting on one heck of a performance tonight. Was able to work your way up, battling for the lead for quite some time. And then, unfortunately, it just kind of looked like the 19 snapped out there up on the high side. It's really unfortunate that it ended up being you. They got collected in that, but that could have been a hell of a lot bigger.
Yeah, I mean, everybody behind us did a good job. You know, I saw him start to turn, and I moved up as far as I could without putting myself on a collision course with the outside wall, and there's just no more room, and he got me. So, you know, it's what it is. That's racing, and you know, we'll load the pieces up and go on next week.
Absolutely. And just before we let you go, you already mentioned your sponsors here. So looking ahead to Barber, what's your outlook for that race?
Stay on the island, don't do anything dumb, and don't get in the way.
Well, that's definitely a good way to look at it heading into Barber. It's a tough racetrack, so gonna be interesting to see how that one goes. But Mark Murphy, unfortunate luck here tonight. But we will see you in a couple weeks at Barber.
Yeah, man, Chris, Robert, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna think about this one for a while, but you guys keep doing what you do, and we'll see you at Barber. And the one I got circled is Michigan, 500 miles in Michigan. It might be my favorite thing to do in the sim, so I'm getting ready for that one.
Yeah, I love Michigan in these cars. I almost won a race there a couple years ago, but my strategist didn't put enough fuel. It's okay, but we'll see what you can do at Michigan in a couple weeks, Mark.
Yes, sir. Robert, Chris, y'all have a good night.
You too, my friend. That was Mark Murphy. Unfortunately, was caught up in an incident not too long ago with Archie Coveney. There is one hell of a battle for the lead here. It's 3 wide. Adriano Pinero on the bottom, Jared Rexing in the middle, Butch Davis on the high side. Davis muscling his way back as we are under 100 laps to go. This battle's heating up, nearly 4 wide. Jesper Orman looking for his chance to get in the battle, and as well, Seb Alexander, Chad Simpson, and Chad Frankenfield up there in it as well. Folks, this has been one incredible race thus far. I know I've said that a lot, but I have not seen a race this competitive in a very, very long time. As the battle for the lead now, Butch Davis takes over the lead single-handedly, jumping ahead of the Adriano Pinero machine. Pinero now side by side with Jared Rexing, as we have Jesper Orman and Chad Simpson trying to fight back into that battle as well. Simpson working his way up on the tippity top of this racetrack. I don't think that's a scientific term, and I think my voice just cracked there. I guess I'm 12 again, as we have Butch Davis out front of Adriano Pinero, Jared Rexing, Jesper Orman, and Chad Simpson, the top 5. Butch Davis, your pole sitter, has had the opportunity to lead this numerous times here tonight. Fell back nearly outside the top 10 for a little bit, has worked his way back towards the front, showing that great strength in that number 41 machine here tonight. Just behind him, Adriano Pinero. This guy's always competitive in these cars, has not won yet this season, looking for that chance here tonight. He started 6th, now up to 2nd. Now he's on the inside of Butch Davis. That is your battle for the lead. And just behind them, Jared Rexing started 3rd, running 3rd. He's been up and down. He's been a yo-yo here tonight, but he's looking for his chance to claim his victory in the Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series. Jesper Orman, always strong. He's working his way up through the field. Started 13th, now scored 3rd in his number 60. He has Seb Alexander on his rear wing, and just behind him, of course, is the Chad Frankenfield machine. By the way, Eric Troiano, he was up in front of the leaders not long ago as a lapped car, and now he's up here trying to join the battle for the top 5. What a rebound for Eric Troiano. And folks, for those of you watching here at home, listening along with us tonight, of course, the SRX series is running. The top 3 as they run, Tony Stewart, Haley Deegan, and Paul Tracy, with Greg Biffle and Daniel Suarez, the top 5. As down on our racetrack, it is Adriano Pinheiro, the Bread King, working his way back to the lead on the inside of Jared Rexing. Butch Davis has fallen back to position number 4 on the outside of Jesper Orman. 87 to go, 162 down. These drivers continuing to show what they can do. The top 3, Pinheiro, Rexing, Orman. Orman side by side with Rexing for second. Another driver that was a lap down not long ago, now back in the top 10. Justin Fortner has worked his way up to position number 8. He's battling with Eric Troiano, not too far behind these guys. As Fortner up on the high side, Frankenfield on the inside. That's the battle for 8th and 9th as Adriano Pinheiro leads over Jared Rexing. Rexing up on the high side. It is Orman on the inside. Butch Davis on the outside just behind them with Seb Alexander on his inside. So this battle all through the top 5 has been absolutely adventurous here tonight and action filled as Jared Rexing is right on the rear bumper of the Adriano Pinheiro machine, but that doesn't matter because Jesper Orman has passed both of them and taken the lead at the line here. It's Orman, Pinheiro, Rexing, Alexander Davis, the top 5 here at Texas. What a battle, what a race thus far. 83 to go. There is a side-by-side battle. On the outside is Eric Troiano. On the inside is Chad Frankenfield. That's the battle for 7th here on the racetrack. What a battle these guys are having as well. Both these guys haven't really been in the topic of discussion much tonight, but now have both put themselves in position to be up in contention for a solid finish. I don't know that anyone really has anything for the likes of Orman, Pinheiro, Rexing, or even Butch Davis. Seb Alexander's been strong, but he hasn't really shown that he can take the lead. But these other drivers have all been out front, have all had their chances to compete for that lead, and look to do it again as soon as absolute possible. I do want to give a shout out to the last car on the lead lap, Bill Cawley. He's running 14th right now. And for some drivers, you know, that might not seem like a great night, whatever. But Bill Cawley, I've seen him have his fair share of struggles this season, and the opportunity for him to run just outside the top 10 shows the perseverance and dedication that that driver has to improve and steadily work his way up through the field. So shout out to Bill Cawley. Thank you to every single driver in this Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series for being here, for putting on this show. And thanks to you at home for tuning in each and every Thursday night that we do have these races, to listen in, to hear my voice, to hear Chris, to hear Johnny, whoever might be on the broadcast. We really do appreciate it. We would love to show you the action of these cars. Unfortunately, there is a contract issue between iRacing and the NTT IndyCar Series, which doesn't allow us to show these cars at this moment. But those that know the inner workings know that, you know, sometimes things implode, and we may get to show those cars soon. So just stay tuned. Just keep with us here, guys. And eventually, as soon as we are able to show those cars, you know that you're going to see one hell of a performance by these drivers. And I usually don't use that word on the broadcast, but that's the only way to describe what these drivers are doing here tonight. As Butch Davis works his way back to second on the inside of Adriano Pinheiro. He's trying to chase down Jesper Orman as the battle for 4th is Jared Rexing on the inside. Chad Simpson on the high side. This has been one heck of a battle all throughout the field. I want to give a shout out as well to Dave Huckleberry. Dave, I don't know if you're tuned in here tonight. I know you're on a bit of a trip and you're having a good time with your family, but I just want to say thank you for everything that you do for us, everything that you do for this league as a whole, and just really everything that you've done for all of us. We really do appreciate it. Your work is very underappreciated and sometimes unnoticed by the mass of this league, but you put on so much effort, put in so much work just to make these broadcasts happen for us, and we couldn't do it without you, buddy. As we have a battle for the race lead, it's Pinheiro up on the high side Butch Davis took a look to the inside, but Pinero closed that gap. I do apologize. That is actually Jesper Orman out front, mixing up the front runners here. Very easy with how much they've shuffled this lead around. It is Jesper Orman, Butch Davis, Adriano Pinero, Chad Simpson, Jared Rex in the top 5. Seb Alexander, Chad Frankfield, Eric Troiano, Robert Malechka, and Victor Del Porto, the top 10. Rest of the cars on the lead lap: Justin Fortner, Colin Culpa, AJ Hobson, and Bill Colley. Cars 1 lap down: Michael Hossack and Joe McAdory. 2 laps down is Michael Bourne. Then 5 back is Mark Rabillas. 9 back for Hunter Smith. And everyone else is absolutely out of tonight's race. 33 or more down. As we continue to watch the action out on the racetrack, the battle is on for second. It's Butch Davis and now Seb Alexander, as Alexander's working the high side around the Butch Davis machine. Seb Alexander heard me say that I don't know if he can lead this thing, but now he looks to the outside of Jesper Orman. So, Seb, I will put my money where my mouth is, or put my foot in my mouth, whatever you prefer here, as you have put on one battle that has been very noticeable trying to get your way up to the front, as we have 71 laps to go, 178 down, 71 to go here in the IndyCar 1909.com 600. Here comes Seb Alexander to the inside of Jesper Orman. Moves Seb Alexander in car number 49 to the lead ahead of Jesper Orman. Orman falls back to second, and Butch Davis in position number 3. Good job by Seb Alexander stealing that lead from Jesper Orman, one of our 2 Scandinavian drivers in the field. Seb Alexander and Jesper Orman, both Scandinavian drivers here tonight, and they have put on a clinic, leading first and second. Butch Davis has been exceptionally strong here tonight, holding on to position number 3. Adriano Pinero 4th, Chad Simpson 5th, Jared Rexing, Eric Toronto, Chad Frankfield, Victor Del Porto, and Robert Malechka, the 3rd, rounding out the top 10 as we run, which is 69 very nice laps to go. Brant Johnson hanging out over in the YouTube chat. Hello, Brant. Shout out to you. Sorry your race didn't go the way you were hoping for, but one heck of a performance by you tonight as well. Obviously, 22nd, not what you wanted, but you were there. You were out there, and you weren't too slow, so that's always a good thing. We're gonna step away one more time here. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time with continued action of the IndyCar 1909.com 600 from the Legacy Texas Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
IndyCar back here at Texas. It is the IndyCar1909.com 600. It is Seb Alexander leading the way over Adriano Pinero and Jesper Orman as your top three. Butch Davis in fourth with Chad Simpson back there in fifth. The battle's on for second. It's Adriano Pinero up on the high side. Jesper Orman on the inside. Orman takes second. He takes first. Wow. Jesper Orman with a 2-for-1. I don't know what's happened to Seb Alexander, but he's now fallen back a little bit. He's going to let Adriano Pinero look to the inside. Pinero jumps down to the inside of the Seb Alexander machine. Move Adriano Pinero to second. Jesper Orman was in third. Now he's in first. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know what we just saw, but let's jump back a little bit further. Another battle here. It is Chad Simpson battling with Victor Del Porto. Simpson holding position 5 ahead of the 6th place Del Porto. Del Porto trying to close that gap, trying to work his way up a little bit closer to the front. But at the front, it is Victor Del Porto with a hard-charging Seb Alexander back to second. Alexander able to gather back up from whatever happened there, work his way back into position number 2 and try to close that gap on the Jesper Orman machine. 192 laps down, 57 to go here at Texas. Orman leading once again. Jesper Orman's led numerous times here tonight, as has Seb Alexander now. Adriano Pinero's also been out front, as has Butch Davis in position number 4. So a lot of leaders in this race. We'll try to get that statistic as quick as we can after the conclusion of tonight's race, but I think we had a lot of lead changes here tonight. I won't even guess how many we've had just because there's been so many. But let's take a look a little bit further back. Robert Malechka trying to battle with Chad Simpson. He pulls away from Simpson. That is position number 8. There's a battle just up ahead. It's Eric Troiano trying to hold off Jared Rexing. Butch Davis trying to hold off Eric Troiano. So that's the battle from 5th all the way back to that Malechka machine in position number 8. Again, Malechka started 26, now in position number 8. It's a great gain by Mr. Malechka, our 3-time defending Brickyard winner, as Seb Alexander makes contact with Adriano Pinero. He steps out. Very, very squirrely moment there for the previous race leader in Alexander. He's able to gather it back up and work his way back into position number 3, but now he has pressure from behind. It is Victor Del Porto. Del Porto has not really been a factor here tonight, but now working his way up further and further into that top 5 in the late running of this race. And out front, Jesper Orman does have Adriano Pinero looking to the outside. Pinero takes a look, now gets back in line behind the Jesper Orman machine. Orman leads the way here on lap number 197. We're 2 away from 50 to go. And I would typically say in a race, oh, it's almost go time, but it's been go time from the start. These drivers have been absolutely on fire and full of energy. I don't know what they've done, but I think every driver stopped by for an IV bag full of caffeine before tonight's race, as they have been absolutely wired here tonight. Just saw a pit call. Jesper Orman calling out that he's coming down, and yes, he does. Your race leader, Jesper Orman, drops to pit road. This should be the final scheduled pit stop of the night for the number 60 machine of Jesper Orman. He nearly goes around entering pit road, coming on the apron there. We saw that issue earlier with Archie Coveney, so would not have been totally shocking to see another driver have that issue. Of course, Coveney very, very strong, as we see Pinero and Seb Alexander both come pit side. Caution's out. Caution is out, and it appears to be Mark Rabilis that has crashed. Let's take a look and see what has just happened. Actually, I do stand corrected. No, would it be Mark Rabilis? It is the Mark Rabilis machine. Rabilis, unfortunately, exiting pit road, went around, hit the inside wall, slid up onto the racetrack, and ended up in the outside. Guys, this does change some things here, as Jesper Orman currently scored 1 lap down, and I'm seeing an incident for Jesper Orman. No, Orman just comes to a stop on the back straight. He is still stopped on the back straight. Not sure what's going on there, but Jesper Orman is stopped on the racing surface. I'm keeping an eye on this, folks, seeing if I can get an update from race control as to what's going on with the Jesper Orman machine. But he has stopped. He has towed Jesper Orman out of this event. Wow. Wow, folks. I don't know what just happened, but Jesper Orman was your leader not long ago, came down pit road, got caught due to a poor timed caution, and then came to a stop and towed back to his pit box. So I really don't know what happened with the Jesper Orman machine. He is sitting in his pit box right now, and he is scored a lap down right now and will be multiple laps down by the time they get going green once again. That is huge. We are on lap 201, 48 laps to go. It's Adriano Pinero, Seb Alexander, Victor Del Porto, Robert Malechka. That is your top 4. Jared Rexing 5th, Eric Troiano, Butch Davis, Chad Frankfield, Chad Simpson, and Justin Fortner. The top 10. Rounding out the cars on the lead lap, Colin Culpa, AJ Hobson, Bill Colley, and Michael Hosick being scored as lead lap cars. And I actually do stand corrected there. It is Culpa and Hobson, the last 2 on the lead lap. Meanwhile, we have Bill Colley, Michael Hosick, and Joe McAdory 1 lap down each here on the racetrack. And we are joined once again by Chris Wright. Chris, are you safe?
I am very safe. It was quite a last hour and a half or so, but it was exciting.
Well, I'm glad to have you back here, my friend. 202 down, 47 to go. Jesper Orman just came down pit road not long ago, Chris, from the lead. And then Mark Rabilis ended up wrecking, bringing out a caution, which trapped Orman a lap down. Orman then proceeded to stop on the back straightaway and tow back to his pit box. So, big change there. And earlier on, while you were away, Archie Coveney and Eric Troiano were battling ahead of the leaders. Unfortunately, Coveney's car stepped out. He went around and collected the second place car, Mark Murphy, which absolutely destroyed that number 69 machine. So, it's been wild this last hour and a half for us as well.
Yeah, I see that we've had some people fall out since I was last in here. Ethan Stanley, Mark Murphy, you mentioned there. I know Mark Murphy was your race pick there too, so
he was looking very strong. He was, I believe he was leading at one point as well. It's been a while. It's been a long race, but yeah, I just heard from race controller John Cutlip. I just inquired on the reason that Jesper Orman did come to a stop, and he says, well, I don't know. So we don't have an update as to why Jesper Orman did come to a full stop on the back straightaway. He has rejoined the field. He's going to come out on at the tail 3 laps down. So that's definitely unfortunate. Pace car is coming off again. 1 warm-up lap, and then we'll get going green once again, Chris.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back in here and see what's going on, see who's up here. I see my pick is up to the top 5. I've seen some guys that just took the wave. I see...
Yeah, we've had a very crazy hour or so. Pinero's led, Alexander's led, Malechka's led, Rexing's led. Butch Davis continues to come back to the lead. It's been wild. Victor Del Porto has slowly worked his way back up. Eric Troiano was a lap down. as was Justin Fortner. Both those drivers were a lap down not too long ago, so it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm guessing everybody pitted here, right? Everybody's good on fuel to the end?
Yeah, everyone has pit within the last 5 laps or so. 5-10 laps.
So it's knuckles down, drag out to the finish right here.
As we're back underway, Chris, Adriano Pinheiro leads us.
That's right, everybody gets up to the gears. I don't see any big stack ups. A couple big gaps, but no big stacks. We will see if they are able to come back together as one pack here in about 5 or 10 laps.
Here comes your pick, Robert Malechka. He's slicing and dicing his way up through the top 3. He was back in 4th, now up to the outside of the race leader. It's Pinheiro on the bottom, Malechka up on the high side. Robert Malechka, folks, he's taken part in 3 oval races this season, and he has won 3 oval races this season. So Robert Malechka, absolutely phenomenal. Jared Rexing going way high up there. That Nesquik car is very quick here tonight.
Yeah, and I believe Robert won last week at Iowa, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Robert Malechka, like I said, he's taken part in 3 oval races. The only one he didn't was Milwaukee Mile. But every other oval race that he's been in, he's been victorious. And, of course, 3-time defending winner of the Brickyard race that we run as well.
We'll have to see if he can pull it off here as we were winding down the laps. But our front 10 or so cars are coming back together right here. Front 9, I think I see 10th and 11th are pretty far back.
This is where it might get really interesting, Chris, with everyone on top of each other. We're almost 3 wide for the lead, by the way. Malechka keeps looking to the outside. Rexing keeps getting closer, and he's falling back a little bit now on the outside of Seb Alexander. And look who's right there once again. Butch Davis. Butch Davis, the pole sitter. Butch Davis has led multiple times tonight on different occasions, and he keeps climbing back into the top 5.
Yeah, and our front 9 here last time are within 6/10 of a second of each other. 1st and 9th. Oh, one car just hit the wall down in the turn 1. Not sure who that is.
I'm not sure who that was either, but everyone has continued on, so I guess it don't really matter who just hit the wall, considering the fact that we're continuing on here. Here comes Jared Rexing. Ooh, Rexing with a big dive. This might get hairy. Seb Alexander almost getting pushed by Chad Frankenfield there. Nearly gets in the back of Jared Rexing. Rexing to the middle. It's Pinheiro on the bottom. Rexing in the middle. Malechka up top as they get back single filed out for 1st and 2nd. Jared Rexing now looks back to the outside of Adriano Pinheiro. Robert Malechka looking to the outside of Jared Rexing. Here we go. The battle for the lead with 37 laps to go.
And there we go. 3 wide into turn 3.
Malechka up
Chad
top.
wide.
Rexing in the middle. Yes, Chad wide. It's Rexing in the middle. Pinheiro out front. Now Rexing falls back. Now Rexing on the outside. Malechka to the outside of Rexing. And here comes Butch Davis up in the battle as well. He's getting pushed. I believe that is Seb Alexander and Chad Simpson. Chad Simpson's been so quiet tonight, but he has not been outside of that top 5 for long. Contact! Contact! Jared Rexing around!
Big wreck. Big wreck down here in turn 3 and 4.
Rexing around, and we are under caution. Rexing destroyed. Simpson in it as well.
Eric Troiano.
Battle. What? Wow. Jared Rexing.
Seb Alexander will not roll.
Taking a look at the replay. Pinheiro came up a little bit. Rexing came down. Rexing came up the racetrack, collecting Seb Alexander, Eric Troiano, and Chad Simpson. Michael Hossack got a piece as well. And I believe that to be the Hunter Smith machine also in that wreck. That might actually be Justin Fortner. No, that is Hunter Smith also collected in that incident. So very, very unfortunate what just happened on the racetrack.
Yeah, and Jared Rexing actually, he got up in the air, got up in the catch fence. Eric Troiano, Chad Simpson, Jared Rexing, Seb Alexander, those 4 cars, they are done.
Wow. What a mess right there.
Michael Hossack is also, man, that damage fixed. I'm not sure if Hossack is going to, I think Hossack might be okay.
Michael Hossack, the first car scored a lap down. Taking a look at that machine, he might have got net code in that, Chris.
Yeah, if you go back and watch the wreck, he loses his front wing and his right front bends and everything like looks broke, and then all of a sudden, like 150 yards later, it fixes back fine.
I think Michael got net code in that incident, and he got lucky. That's for darn sure. Wow. Yeah, taking a look. Meatball flags, meaning required damage for Seb Alexander, Jared Rexing, Eric Troiano, and Michael Bourne, as well as Chad Simpson. So multiple cars that were front runners here now out of tonight's event.
And the car that started it all, Adriano, is going to be the leader.
Taking a look, Michael Hossack is diving pit side. Keep an eye on that car, Chris, and see how long he spends on pit road.
Robert Malechka here pitted. Must think new tires are worth it here.
And Malechka did come down. Malechka scored in third, though.
Yeah, everybody third back pitted. Adriano and AJ Hobson stayed out. Everyone else pitted.
Adriano Pinero, AJ Hobson both came down. Like you mentioned, Malechka, Davis, Frankenfield, Del Porto, Culpa, rounding out the cars on the lead lap that have come down. Michael Hossack, quick stop. He's all right.
Yeah, so I'm seeing our first and second place cars did not pit here, correct?
Taking a look at the lap counter, yes, 200 and 202 respectively for those drivers. Everyone else lap 214 for their last pit stop. And chances are at this point, Chris, that was most likely the final stop for most of those guys. Unless you get a late caution and you have a set. I mean, there's only 7 guys on the lead lap, right?
Yeah, we're looking at 7 guys on the lead lap here. We've got Adriano, AJ Hobson, Robert Malechka, Butch Davis, Chad Frankenfield, Victor Del Porto, Colin Copa are the only cars on the lead lap.
If I'm someone like AJ Hobson, now, we haven't really spoken much about him tonight. I think I would have pit. I think I would have taken tires, especially with only 7 cars on the lead lap.
I agree. I think I would have pitted if I was either one of those front 2 guys. I don't know, if they just weren't thinking about it. They're used to tires not meaning as much. I'm not sure what the
especially
situation
with
is.
the drivers like Robert Malechka and Butch Davis both still in this event. Both of them have been exceptionally strong tonight. And them on a dozen lap fresher tires, that'll make a difference. That'll make a difference for sure. But
new tires are going to, definitely make a difference.
Especially when they started with 10 sets in the pits. You can't tell me they don't have sets left. Most of these guys probably still have 4 or 5 sets of tires left sitting on pit road. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. The pace car is going to come down this time. But as you know, we do the one, we'll call it a Chad lap, Chris. I don't even know. It's not really warm-up. It's a Chad lap. And we'll go green with 30 laps to go here in the IndyCar1909.com 600 here at Legacy, Texas. Again, IndyCar1909.com for IndyCar past, present, and future. Now, Chris, earlier tonight, I was taking a look at the SRX race and kind of reporting on that a little bit here. Obviously, some different demographics, but looks like Brad Keselowski picked up the heat win.
I've seen that they added some laps today. I'm guessing because they had to cut the race short last week, and they're back again for a second week at the same racetrack.
Yeah, they ended up having to come back here to Stafford. They were going to go to a different racetrack, but I guess there was a lot of flooding or something going on. So
As we
All
get
right.
ready to go green here, I will be attending SRX and I'll do it.
That'll be fun as we are under green. Once again, Adriano Pinero out front. AJ Hobson kind of sleeping a little bit on that start.
Yeah, but with the draft, they're going to pull right back to him. Now,
On
one
the-
thing interesting here is our third place car does have to restart behind quite a bit of traffic.
Yeah, Bill Colley there as well. Malechka has to get by Justin Fortner machine, as well as Bill Colley if he wants to work his way up, and of course AJ Hobson as well. As we see Robert Malechka now on the outside of Justin Fortner, trying to get up to the outside of the AJ Hobson machine, and then he will have to get by a couple lap cars.
Side by side for the lead. Here we go.
Yeah, as Adriano Pinero up on the high, Jesper Orman on the high side, Adriano Pinero on the inside, 29 to go here.
Oh, that's right. That's not our race lead. That's
No,
a lap car.
Jesper Orman's multiple laps down, Chris.
My bad. I thought
You got me all
hey.
confused here. Jesper Orman, Orman's just out there, but he's trying to get some laps back as well. Currently scored 3 laps down, trying to get back to 2. He definitely has the pace to do it, but I don't think he has enough time to get 3 laps back, but you never know.
I think what he's doing is he's just making the leader mad right here. I think that's what he's doing.
So
Because here comes new tires all the way against the wall.
Malechka up on the high side. He's trying to work his way through. There's Bill Colley and Jesper Orman behind Adriano Pinero on the bottom. Butch Davis coming through with Pinero as well. Bill Colley slides up the racetrack nearly into the side of Butch Davis. If I'm Davis, I'm not too happy right there.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. These new tires look like they're going to mean quite a bit here. I think here real quick, Adriano's going to wish he came and got him.
Chris, I think we might be due for a big wreck here. I don't like saying that, but I think we're due for a big wreck here momentarily with the difference of these tires and the lap traffic up here towards the front. Side by side
Here
for
we
the
go.
lead, though. Robert Malechka up on the high side. It is Adriano Pinero on the bottom. And Butch Davis, he's peeking. He wants to go. Butch Davis looks to the outside of Robert Malechka. Malechka now, oh, that was close. Malechka slid up right in front of the Butch Davis machine. We've hit Alex Ned's favorite part of the race. 25 to go, Chris. Are you confident sticking with Robert Malechka as your pick to win here tonight?
I think I am. I like the fresher tires. I like his track position.
Since my driver is out of the race, I'm not going to stick with Mark Murphy at the 25 to go mark. I am going to jump to another driver that's been so competitive here tonight, and like the best performance I've seen him have all season long. Currently running third, now battling for fourth with Chad Frankfield. I'm going to go Butch Davis.
I think that's a good pick. He's ran at the front all night tonight. He's right there waiting in the wings, as is Chad Frankenfield.
Yeah, this
Right
is
now, Adriano's doing everything he can just to protect the bottom. He knows that they have better tires. He knows he's at a disadvantage, so he knows he's got to drive super defensive.
If I'm Butch Davis, rather than going 3 wide, I think I'm trying to get behind Robert Malechka, put some air under his rear wing to try to push him forward, and then try to pass him once we've cleared Adriano Pinero.
Yeah, Adriano gets such a good run, but this time Malechka's got a really good run down the back stretch into 3.
Yeah, Malechka looks to the outside of Adriano Pinero. That is your battle coming off of turn 4 side by side. Pinero, again, just able to edge out ahead of Robert Malechka. They nearly make contact there, by the way, towards the start-finish line. Again, nearly contact in 1 and 2. They're getting tighter and tighter. 21 to go, coming to 20 this time. Butch Davis takes a peek in the middle 3 wide. He gets back in line. This is not going to be good if these drivers do go 3 wide. And look who's coming to try to think about Chad Wide. It is the man himself, number 15, kicking the tires, ready to kick his way towards the front. Chad Frankenfield in that number
I'm
15
watching
Little
Butch
Eagle
here.
machine.
He has been peeking to that very bottom. I think he's going to try to get a run and surprise our leader and go to the bottom of 3 wide.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful because he's entering turn 3 a little bit higher than he should, nearly getting into the left rear tire of Robert Malechka. But if he can get himself a nice run here, he might have an opportunity to do it. As he opens the door, Chad Frankenfield dives to the inside. Malechka pushes Davis up towards the outside wall. Butch Davis now, he's fallen back. He's still in third but Chad Frankenfield now dives to the inside of that car. 19 laps to go. It's Adriano Pinero, Robert Malechka, Butch Davis, Chad Frankenfield, the top 4, and they are all under a blanket. Victor Del Porto in 5th, Colin Culpa, AJ Hobson, Justin Fortner, Michael Hasek, and Mr. Macaroni, Joe McAdory, rounding out the top 10.
Here we go. This time Robert's about a wheel length in front, going into 3. He's going to give some of that back here, but can he stay up there? He does.
Malechka side by side at the line. Chris, that gap, about 2/100ths of a second. Nothing major. Down the back straightaway. They are Chad wide. It's Butch Davis on the high side. Robert Malechka in the middle. Adriano Pinero on the bottom off of turn 4. It is Pinero leading the way, but here comes Butch Davis looking to the high side once again. Here comes Frankenfield with a run. Frankenfield to the inside of Malechka. They are 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 for the top 8.
Incredible stuff right here.
Victor Del Porto nearly making contact with the car behind him there. I believe that to be the Colin Culpa machine. Actually, I believe that might have been AJ Hobson. As
3 wide for second.
Frankenfield continuing to work that bottom. 15 to go. And we're watching car 15 like a hawk here. He is trying to close that gap, looking for a hole. You know he's going to force 3 wide at some point. That's why it's been coined Chad wide, as Adriano Pinero leads over Robert Malechka, Butch Davis, and Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield now side by side with Malechka. He almost had the hole there. He was looking for it, Chris.
Yep. You almost wonder if you want to lay back here and get a big slingshot run. But then you'd have to have people working with you, because like some people, yeah, everybody try to pass everybody here. So
I think it's getting down to the nitty gritty. It's time. You have to do it. You have to go. I don't think you can hang back too much here with just 13 laps remaining, and these laps tick off very, very quickly. 24-second lap times as Pinero leads over Malechka, Davis, Frankenfield, and Del Porto. The top 5. Frankenfield, he's looking, man. He's going to be 3 wide at any moment here.
Just front four under a blanket right here.
Yeah, front 4 are absolutely under a blanket. They don't need it because it's hot enough with this racing action, as Pinero trying to hold off Robert Malechka. Malechka trying to get to the outside of Pinero. They're going to come to 11 laps to go. We've run 238 laps now, but just 11 remain here at Texas in the IndyCar1909.com 600. Butch Davis looks to the outside of Robert Malechka. Malechka opens the door for Davis. Chad Frankenfield into the side of Butch Davis. Frankenfield has crashed on the back straightaway. He gets rolling once again. We do stay green. Wow.
Yeah, Chad's pretty frustrated here, but I believe Chad just kind of pushed up into the 2 more into Butch more than Butch came down into him.
Chris, Butch Davis just had a massive blink. Oh, contact. It's your leaders. Malechka, Pinero, they make contact on the back straightaway. Coming to 9 laps to go. On the inside, Pinero holds the lead just barely over Robert Malechka. Butch Davis still up in that battle. Victor Del Porto up there as well. And just behind him, the Apollo man, Colin Culpa, up inside that top 5 as well.
Very curious to see coming to 8 to go. Can they make this pass on Adriano? Right now, it is not looking like they can.
Malechka needs a little bit of help here. He needs Butch Davis to get up behind him. Del Porto just behind these guys has a mirrorful of Colin Culpa as Butch Davis takes a look to the high side. Here comes Del Porto to the inside of Butch Davis. Is it going to be one of these guys that we didn't expect whatsoever that's going to be able to get up there? Chad Frankenfield, folks, has fallen back to 7th. He's the the last car on the lead lap, nearly 9 seconds behind the field. Unfortunate for him, Pinero drops down to the inside. Malechka now going to have a bit of an advantage coming off of turn 4, and actually he doesn't, as Adriano Pinero just so strong. Coming to 6 to go now
Victor Del Porto has joined this fight.
24 corners to go for Adriano Pinheiro, Robert Malechka, Butch Davis, Victor Del Porto, and Colin Culpa, the top 5. Davis takes a look, trying to get 3 wide. Malechka, I think, might be as close as he's been off of 4, but he just can't get there. 5 laps remaining. Just a few opportunities to go, and here's Victor Del Porto right on the rear wing of Adriano Pinheiro and Robert Malechka. Malechka has a wing full of Davis. As Davis looks to the high side, they are 3 wide just briefly. Victor Del Porto now jumps down to the inside. He's going to try to get up to the rear of Pinheiro. Nearly contact between Del Porto and Davis. 4 laps remaining, and they are side by side heading into turn number 1.
Yes, side by side, the front 4. Adriano pulls away a little bit. They're catching a slow car. I believe that is Chad Frankenfield. Chad's going to hold the bottom. That's going to kind of cause a shuffle.
As they put Chad Frankenfield 1 lap down here, it is 3 wide just behind Adriano Pinheiro. It is Malechka, Del Porto, and Butch Davis there just getting around the Chad Frankenfield machine. 3 to go, coming to 2 this time. Bit of snaking on the back straightaway by Pinheiro, trying to close off that run.
Two more to go. Robert's further up than he's been all race long, all run long. Chad Frankenfield, I think, is trying to send a message to Butch Davis here.
Chad Frankenfield just needs to get out of the way. Coming to the white flag this time, and they are side by side off of turn number 4. Coming to the line at the white flag. The gap between first and second, 2 100ths of a second separating Malechka and Pinheiro. Malechka going to have one final attempt at it. He's getting a little bit of a push from Del Porto to the outside. Goes Robert Malechka. Malechka going to try to close the gap on Pinheiro, coming off of turn number 4. Coming to the line, this time at the line. Photo finish, I believe it's Robert Malechka. Malechka by 2 1,000ths of a second over Adriano Pinheiro, Chris. What a race. I think that is the closest finish in Elite Racing League history right there.
That was incredible.
Folks,
he finally went through there and pinned him to the bottom and held him down there.
I'm going to apologize to the viewers at home that they did not get to see that finish, Chris. What a drive by Robert Malechka. His 4th oval victory of the season in 5 races.
And Victor Del Porto finishes 3rd. And he had a big run there. If the start-finish line had been down another 100 feet, we might have been talking about a 3-wide finish.
Chris, we started 28 cars tonight. Robert Malechka started 26th and finished 1st. I cannot wait to talk to these podium finishers. I don't think we'll get to talk to Adriano Pinheiro. We might not get to talk to Victor Del Porto either, just due to some language barriers. We'll see if they join us. But we'll for sure get to talk to Robert Malechka III. Well, I hope anyways. What a battle right there. Let's head over to take a look at the final results of tonight's race. As we pull the results up on the screen here. Robert Malechka III, your winner by 2 1,000ths of a second over Adriano Pinheiro. Just 4 100ths over Victor Del Porto. Butch Davis 3/10ths back. Rounding out the top 5, Colin Culpa. AJ Hobson 6th. Justin Fortner 7th. Michael Hosick 8th. Joe McAdory 9th. Chad Frankfield 10th. Jesper Orman 11th. Michael Bourne in 12th. Mark Rabilas 13th. Hunter Smith 14th. Bill Colley in 15th. Eric Troiano, Jared Rexing, Seb Alexander. Rounding out the top 18 there. Chad Simpson, Mark Murphy, the top 20. The rest of the field, Archie Coveney, Brant Johnson, Ethan Stanley, Chris Samard, Chris Walker, Greg Forsyth, Ryan Schold, and Chris Webb. What a race. What a finish we saw there, Chris. And it looks like Victor Del Porto is standing by. And why don't you go ahead and kick off the interview here, Chris?
All right, we are now joined by by Victor Del Porto. Victor, what a great race tonight. You snuck up in there, and I thought maybe coming through 3 and 4 that last time you might be sitting in the spot to get the biggest run, but take us through your night, how you survived all the carnage, and ended up with the shot to win.
Yes, Chris, good evening for you and for Robert. A tough race because it was almost a pack racing during the half of the stint. But I liked its setup. It was a good setup to race. And for me, it was almost sorry, I will explain again. For most of the race, I was saving fuel, so I did use my car on a full motor engine only in the last stint. So it was good to me. This result, it is a very good result for me. And the last laps, I tried to pass both of them, and Robert and Adriano, but it was very hard to pass without space because Adriano was using the first line, Robert the second line, and I didn't have space to pass both of them.
Yeah, you just needed a little bit more space there, like you said, but it was an incredible race. Tell us what it was like out there being a part of that and an old worn-out track. I know that the tires had to be wearing, so what was it like to be in the middle of that pack race?
It was difficult because I was trying to save and fuel all the race and escape from the carnage. I did well today because all the crashes I escaped. I was doing a good job with the tire wear, so I didn't pit on green, only in yellows, and almost all the stints I almost pit on green. I was saving very good at the tire wear, but it's unfortunately the race didn't have a full green stint to test what could happen.
Well, all right, I'll pass you off to Robert. Victor, congrats on the third place finish tonight. And Robert, you got anything for Victor?
Yeah, Victor, congratulations on a very strong run tonight. Very quiet most of the race, and then found yourself in a very strong spot coming down to the wire here tonight at Texas. And looking ahead to next week, next round, we have a couple weeks off here, and then we head to Barber. What's your outlook going to Barber?
I like Barber. I think we have a very strong field, but in the road side, I'm doing well. But my problem almost is because this very very strong field. I always ending my races on top 10. I need to finish more in front in top 3, top 5. I like Barber, and I think I can do a great job there.
Absolutely. And for you, this is your first podium finish of the season, and you've been very strong on the ovals. Looking ahead to the final few rounds of the series, there's just the one road course at Barber, and then we go to 3 more ovals, which, again, like I mentioned, you've been very strong at. Do you think you can maybe grab a victory at one of the final 3 ovals of the season?
I can, but as I said before, this field is very, very strong. I'm trying all I can to win or finish with top 3, top 5. I had in the last few races many mistakes or crashes, and then I'm trying to recover from these events. So I think I can win a race in the last few rounds.
Absolutely. And just before we let you go here tonight, any shout outs you want to give? Any sponsors you want to thank?
Yes, I want to thank my sponsor, Pro Race Simuladores. It's a company from Brazil who produces equipments for sim racing. So if you can buy something, access proracingsimuladores.com.br. My teammates from Beneporto Pro Racing, Thiago Benedetti, Carlos Washington, Alain Moreira, Adriano Fraporte, my friends, Thiago Maicon, Sandro da Organs, Alex, and I want to invite all of you to follow on my Twitch channel. My Twitch channel is Victor Del Porto Racer. That's it. Thank you very much, all of you, and I think I can do better in the next races.
Well, congratulations once again on a very strong run tonight, Victor, and we'll see you in a few weeks at Barber.
See you.
Chris, that was Victor Del Porto, our third place finisher tonight. Now standing by with you, the man of the hour, Robert Malechka III.
Well, Robert, that's 2 in a row there. I was here last week at Iowa, and you said you wanted to start at the back to see how traffic works. So tonight, when you decided to start at the back, I went ahead and picked you to win the thing. You proved me right. Why do you enjoy starting at the back so much?
I mean, this race, obviously the leader can just hold the white line all the way around, it seemed, but I think I said it last time, but I mean, in practice, you don't really get much heavy traffic, and say if anything goes wrong in the pit cycle, like some guys, pitted a few laps before caution came out and they dropped the lap down, so then they restart like 7th or 8th. So I just like getting those reps in. It's 248 laps it says here, and you can easily use 100 of those laps just to get reps in traffic. It's, see what works, see what doesn't. So just in case if things do go south, you can make your way easily back up the field. So that's kind of why I do it. And in all honesty, I do sometimes get bored just like being a leader and clicking off laps. So starting the back keeps my brain right and helps me be pretty accurate, especially coming to the end there. And I think that's kind of what won me the race.
So are you saying it's way too easy, so you got to give yourself a challenge?
Sometimes, yes, if I'm, being perfectly honest, but, even at fixed, like, it's all about reps here, right? So, or in the fixed IndyCar series, like, it's all about reps. Anyone can be fast in clean air. It's not that hard to do, but what really makes a difference is being good in traffic, and that's where I try to excel at. And, I think I was probably in traffic the most out of anyone that race, and that really helped me kind of get through the field and get me to P2 there.
Well, congrats on the win, Robert. I will hand you over to Robert and see what he has for you.
Congratulations once again on your victory here tonight. Your 5th start of the season, 4th victory, and all victories have come on the ovals. What is it about this oval or this car on the oval that you seem to love so very much?
Just kind of understanding the tire. I mean, the tire is quite tricky to understand. Like, it's, especially with the fixed setups, it's very easy to overheat, say, the right front or the right rear. And I think I just have a very good understanding of what I need to do with the tools in order to keep my tires in optimal shape. Because, you guys probably saw it the halfway through the run, towards the last few laps of the run, especially near the halfway point, it seemed. Guys were just burning up the right front, and it was really easy to pass guys. So, yeah, honestly, your question was what I like about the car. I mean, that's really it. I mean, the driver can do so much here, and I think you saw today that the 2 best, myself and Adriano, were at the front there.
Absolutely, and it was one heck of a battle between you guys, and Butch Davis as well was up there, Seb Alexander. And looking ahead to the final 4 rounds of the season, we go to Barber in a couple weeks, followed by Michigan, Charlotte, and Gateway. What's your outlook for those 4 races?
Michigan's probably my strongest track on here, by a long shot. I love my 2-mile tracks. I think I've done like maybe 150 laps at Barber all time. So I'm not great at Barber. And then yeah, I mean every oval I should be up there, but I think Barber's next. I'm just going to Barber. If I can get honestly a solid top 5, that would make my day.
Now, seeing as you seem to be the oval king around here, what are the chances that we might see you in, say, the Elite Truck Series or Xfinity Series or Cup Series, anything like that? Has any of that ever crossed your mind?
Not really. I mean, those guys honestly would kick my butt because, they have so much a better understanding of the tire. And, one of my teammates on Power Sled, Alex Van de Sant, I think he's ran in the lead a few times. And runs every car, it seems like, on a sim. And he's, very well-rounded, and I can't even touch his lap time. So, I mean, maybe with, a year experience in, say, a cup car, I could get close to those guys' times. But, on here, it's all about experience, and it'd be quite difficult for me to get there. But, maybe a one-off at, say, like a Talladega or Daytona, one of the easier tracks. But, yeah, my main focus is just on IndyCar.
Absolutely. And before we let you go here tonight, Robert, and we might be able to make that one-off happen eventually, any sponsors you want to thank or shout-outs you want to give?
Thanks, Power Slide. Run IndyCar with them all the time. Great teammates over there. Yeah, thanks for Chad for putting the league on. Thanks for Adriano, honestly, for racing me very clean there. I mean, it was very tight there, and he gave me all the room in the world, and I really appreciate it. So, and thank you guys for doing the radio broadcast.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you here, and congratulations once again on a very strong run tonight at Texas.
Yep. Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
Well, Chris, that was Robert Malechka, your winner here tonight at Texas. I do just want to take a quick look at the stats of tonight's race. 26 lead changes amongst, let's count the leaders here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different leaders. 9 leaders out of 28 drivers that started this race, Chris, and 26 lead changes. That is very, very strong.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a very competitive race. I saw the start. I saw the end. I am sorry that I left you hanging there in the middle. Things happened and transpired.
I would have rather you been safe. So,
but it seems like it was a great race, an exciting finish, maybe the closest finish ever in the open wheel series. So it was pretty exciting. I got to enjoy that type of racing. I'm glad I was up there watching and not down in the middle of all that chaos, but it was very exciting. I can't wait to see what happens at Barber. Like you said, a couple weeks off. Will Robert be able to continue his success, or is it just strictly on the ovals?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be very interesting to see what he can do at Barber in a couple weeks. And just before we sign off here tonight, I do want to give you a quick update on the points. Adriano Pinero leading by just 3 over Jesper Orman, 4 over Robert Malechka, and then 65 back to Chad Frankenfield. So those top 3 are all on top of each other. And if Robert Malechka had made the other 2 races, he's missed 2 thus far. If he made the other 2, he would be the points leader. I guarantee it, by quite a bit. So very interesting. And actually, just to point out, the top 2 in points, Pinero and Orman, both winless on the season. So that is something to keep an eye on as we go forward. But that'll do it for us here tonight on the Elite Racing Network. Next round for the Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series will be August 3rd at the Barber Motorsports Park. That'll be the full course layout of that particular track, August 3rd. And again, this Sunday, stay tuned, Truck Series kicks off at Daytona. Monday, the Grand National Series at Daytona as well with Chris and I. Tuesday will be the PitPassNetwork.com ARCA Series. Chris and I will be on the call for that, joined by Matthew Weeks at Daytona. Wednesday night, the JoinAPS.com Cup Series Daytona 500 kicks off that season. Of course, Daytona, the venue for that one. Speed Weeks coming up here on the Elite Racing Network. I want to thank Chris Wright for joining me tonight, Chad Frankenfield, John Cutlip, all the admins behind the scenes. Of course, Dave Huckleberry for everything he does. All of you for tuning in tonight. Congratulations to Robert Malechka, Adriano Pinero, and Victor Del Porto, the podium finishers here tonight at Texas. And once again, thanks to IndyCar1909.com for sponsoring tonight's race. Have yourself a great night, everyone. And remember, be smart, be clean, and we'll be there at the end. Have a good night.